Hi, guys. Thanks so much for joining me again today. We've been talking a lot about habits. We're going to shift gears a little bit during this new series. So, let's break down the differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And if that sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, continue watching. I'm Judy from Bernwalt TV, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Our focus is on growth, development, having to do with our minds, bodies, and our spirits. And all this information should be good for everyone, including children or students. Thank you so much again for joining. Let's hop right into it. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck explained in her research the interactions between our beliefs and our talents and how that affect our academic performance, career growth, and resilience. So all those kind of go together. Let's talk about how a growth what a growth mindset really is and how to shift your self-talk. Let me ask you something. Have you ever said to yourself, I'm just bad at math? I'm just bad at math. It's just something that I'm not able to do. That's just me. I'm just bad at math. Some people are better at math than others. And I'm just one of those people who are just bad at math. Have you said that to yourself or something similar? Or, for example, maybe you said public speaking is just not my thing. Mm-mm. I'm in the background. I'll do the technical work. I'll make sure everything is set up okay. But public speaking is just not my thing. Is that something familiar to you? Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe you didn't get that leadership role that you applied for. Maybe you didn't. But in your mind, what you say to yourself when you failed the exam or when you did not get that promotion or that leadership role, what you said to yourself was, I'm just not cut out for this. This is just not my thing. It's not me. But psychologist Carol Dweck studied how people think about intelligence and their ability. So she looks on that interaction between intelligence and ability. And based on her research, she came up with the idea of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Let's talk about the differences between the two. A fixed mindset is just like you would imagine it would be. Someone is stagnant. They believe they can't accomplish anything. They believe that they're as far as they're going to be. They avoid challenges when they're in a fixed mindset. They give up very easily. For example, that student who just feels like they're not good at math, they don't challenge themselves with math because they already have this mindset that they're just not good at math. So that's the fixed mindset. People in the fixed mindset also um, are threatened by others' success. They don't see the value in others' success or learning from others' success. However, in the growth mindset, your belief is usually that your ability can improve. You believe in improvement. You believe in hard work. You see effort as necessary, like putting in the time and effort is necessary. These people are inspired by the success of others. They look at someone's success and it inspires them to work harder or to try and distinguish how that individual made it to where they are. They learn from others' success. They are not upset by someone's success. They look at it as a learning opportunity or a challenge for them to do more and to work harder. For students in a fixed mindset, this is for students, they feel like if they don't get it right away, they're just not smart, right? You hear that often for teachers out there or for parents. You'll hear students say, I'm just not smart. That's just not my cup of tea. I'm not going to worry about that because I already know I'm not going to do well. So that's in that fixed mindset. But neuroscience shows that the brain is adaptable, which means it can grow, develop. Skills can improve with repetition and deliberate practice. Skills will improve. So that kid who is not the greatest on the soccer field goes out and practices very often and gets tips from a coach and puts into practice all that he's learning, watches videos, all the different things having to do with soccer. What do you think is going to happen? He has a growth mindset. He believes that he can do better, he can improve, and so he's working towards it. And it's adaptable for him, and he will be able to improve with that increased habit. So that is just a part of how the interaction between a growth mindset and a habit kind of intertwine. If you believe that you can do better and things are adaptable, or you want to put forth effort, that's where those habits come into place, because those habits are the actual foundation of that growth mindset. That means that communication skills can improve. If you are the individual who says, I'm not good at presentations, I'm not good at speaking in front of others, your communication skills can improve with practice. Confidence in those communication skills will improve because you feel that you are now better at interacting with others or better at public speaking. And so that will boost your confidence. That kid that's practicing soccer boosts his confidence on the soccer field for the next game and the games after that. He will feel more confident in his abilities to perform well on the team. So let's talk about 3 practical shifts that you can start today. 3 practical shifts that you can start today. The first one is to add yet. So for that individual who thinks they're not good at public speaking or giving presentations, or that kid that has to do a report and present it in front of the class, they may say, I'm terrible at presentations. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to take a lower grade. They need to reframe that sentence. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at presentations, say, I am not confident at all the things I need to know to give a good presentation yet. Add an yet at the end of that statement gives the brain an opportunity to say, oh, this is something that I'm going to work on and I'm going to grow in. And then they go looking for the steps in order to take to get to that part. So adding yet is the first shift in your thinking and in your doing, shifting from being fixed to being growth minded. The next shift is something similar to what we talked about when we discussed habits, right? We talked about tracking. That is shift number 2. So tracking just means that you're keeping track of what you're doing to get to that accomplishment. So let's say we use the kid that's learning soccer or wants to improve soccer. He's going to track how often he is on the soccer field, right? We're going to track that. Is it 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Did he put that into a schedule? And then he's going to say, every time I did 15 minutes, I'm going to write that down, or I'm going to mark that off. With the help of his coach, he's going to track his progress as well as how often he's practicing, right? And remember, practicing, we're not expecting perfection, we're just expecting repetition. So another thing that I believe that's really important to remember is shift number 3. Praise, giving students praise instead of identifying exactly what they accomplish. So for example, saying, avoiding language like, you are so smart. It's not very clear what you've accomplished or what you've worked on or what you are growing in, right? We want to be clear with children, we want to be clear with students about what they are growing in and what the growth looks like. So, for example, if they have to work on their presentation or a book report, you may say, I really like the fact that you've taken time to research what you need to research for this presentation, right? And you are tying it to the fact that they're doing the steps. They're doing the steps. If they have an exam, they're studying for that exam. They're taking time out of their day to do the repetition, to do what needs to be done to grow. You are prepared, or you prepared well for your exam. You are being consistent with going out on the soccer field and practicing. You have improved having those shifts in your talking, in your doing, and how you're relating to students is important. So these repetitious workings, these habit creations, these things that you're doing regularly, guess what they create? I mentioned it before. They create confidence. They improve confidence. And when you are confident in your ability to grow, you will actually work on growing in all areas, not just math and not just science or presentations or playing soccer. You know that when you put the work into something, you will grow and you will improve. You're not pretending to be great. There's no pretense. You know that you need to work in order to get better. Goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to improve. And real confidence lean into discomfort. If you're not good at something, you know you feel uncomfortable, but you're going to lean into that discomfort in order to take those steps to improve. Some students, for example, will take the harder class, right? Because they know they need to take the harder class. Growth happens when comfort ends. You know, that student we talk about who's practicing soccer, he's not comfortable out there, going out there every day. It's not comfortable for him. He could be home sitting on the couch watching TV, right? But he knows that he wants to improve in this area, and he has that mindset to go and do the work. When you're tired, when you had a game the day before and you're exhausted, or when your friends are doing something else that you really want to be doing as well, but you know you really love soccer and you want to get so much better at it, you know that you have to go. And yet it is, like I said, it's uncomfortable. And that's where growth happens. So finally, call to action. Your call to action is to think of a fixed mindset, or when a fixed mindset come onto you, think of replacing it or rephrasing that fixed mindset, that fixed terminology or that statement, and adding yet. Rework your statement and add yet to it at the end of it. Take one small action aligned to a growth mindset. Take one small action aligned to a growth mindset. But most importantly, do not give up. It will be uncomfortable, but do not give up. Mindset determines how successful you become. Mindset does. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.